This is actually, I meant that, the show where we stop sugarcoating, stop shrinking ourselves, and say the things that we actually mean out loud, right? Let's get into it. My name's Kat, and if you're like me, you've replayed conversations 12 times in your head, you've pressed backspace on your beliefs and your opinions. Well, guess what? It's a new era. We are not doing that anymore. So, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're here. This is episode 1, the first of hopefully many. Today, I'm talking about something that has been a lifelong struggle for me, and that is being a yes woman, a yes man, a yes woman. If you're someone who has been raised and conditioned to say yes to people, to places, to things at the sacrifice of your own comfort, this episode is for you. Stay with me. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm not a mental health counselor, but I am a person who has lived this kind of lifestyle for over 3 decades. And let me tell you something, I'm still in recovery and I have a lot to share about it. So I think this will be cathartic for you. I hope so. Honestly, my entire purpose of this show is to get you guys to feel so fucking comfortable with yourselves that you don't need anyone else for validation, that you can set healthy boundaries, emphasis on the healthy boundaries without fearing anything. And guess what? If the people in your life don't respect those healthy boundaries, then maybe they're not for you. And I want you guys to get to a place where you're comfortable accepting that. That's important. We want to get to a place of acceptance, not a place of fear of rejection. We're going to talk about all of that today because it is so important, especially in the category of people pleasing. All right, you're a yes man, you're a yes woman. You've said yes to a lot of things throughout your life because you were taught from a young age to never burn a bridge. Oh my gosh, we don't want to say that to people. What if they think a certain way about us? And we literally took on the identity of other people before us. So this is the problem, because in many cases, as a people pleaser, as a recovering people pleaser now, we're fully aware that this really isn't us, that it doesn't align with us. You know, in your body. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score. A lot of people love this book. It's very, very popular. But it is true in its essence that the body does keep score. So when you're uncomfortable with something, your body's going to tell you. When something doesn't align with you in this life, your body's going to tell you. When you're pleasing someone at the sacrifice of your own comfort, your body is going to tell you. Your body's going to reject that experience energetically. You'll feel it. The pit in your stomach, the feeling like, oh God, I really don't want to do this right now. I really don't want to go to that party. I really don't want to go to that event, but I'm going to say yes because I know these people want me to be there. Oh, well, that's nice. I'm glad they want you to be there, but you also aren't required and obligated to say yes. By the way, no is a full sentence. So all this being said, since I was young, I was conditioned into this. I was conditioned into this life of making sure everybody was happy with performative behavior too. Like being this happy-go-lucky person, which I am. I really am at my core. But I put that facade on so much just to make other people feel comfortable. And I remember way back when I had this friend in high school, and I'll never forget this. And this is the thing. I tell people this all the time because of trauma. I'm sure it's because of trauma. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I don't have a great memory. I really don't. Maybe I have early onset something. I don't know, but I really don't have a great memory. I do remember this though. This is one of those things that was branded on my brain for life. When I was in high school, there was an exchange student at our school, in which I was so excited about because I love to travel. I love to learn all about different cultures and different people all over the world. Like that was very exciting for me, especially being a small town person. Like I just couldn't have loved that more for us. It was just seeing a different perspective coming from someone all the way across the world. It was just so cool. As a people pleaser at that time, everything was about making sure that people were comfortable with me. Like that's all I cared about. I didn't care about my thoughts. I didn't care about my feelings. Didn't care about my opinions. I'm not telling anyone shit, right? Like as long as you feel good, then I'm good. And we're going to talk all about this too, because this is really important. Anyway, this exchange student told my friend, wow, I really don't like her. She's very fake. And I'll never forget that because it triggered something in me. And at the time, I didn't realize why. I was like, what is she talking about? I'm nice to everyone. How could she ever fucking say this about me? How could she ever think this about me? And that's really just that pain coming up of having to be liked by everyone all the time. So not only did she notice that I was performative in ways, because I was always trying to make people happy. I was always trying to put on face for people. But she also triggered this part of me that was real. And for that, I'm really grateful because I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck? You know, how I'm failing again. How the fuck can someone not possibly be comfortable around me or think something else of me, right? Everyone has to like me because that's how I've been raised. Everyone has to like me, otherwise I'm failing. And that is not fucking true. And it's embarrassing to look back on, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying any of this to you with judgment, of course, but for me, I honestly went through a phase of like, wow, what the fuck, Kat? Like total embarrassment over this. And after I started healing this, when I started going to therapy in my late 20s, I started realizing that I imprisoned myself. So I really actually mean it when I say people pleasers are prisoners of their own reality. They are. I get it. I understand it. I realized through therapy, I'm putting myself in a jumpsuit, in chains and shackles, and the bars of my prison cell are being built based on other people's expectations. So, in this episode, we're going to talk all about how this people-pleasing conditioning forms, how you can break through it, what it stemmed from, the things that are going on in the brain, because I think that's really important too, because this truly is such a neurological thing. And again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have read so much on this subject over the years because I've had to heal it myself. My goal in sharing this particular topic with you is because I want you to get out of survival mode. I want you to feel fully empowered in your sovereignty. And sovereignty is not going to feel cozy and safe, because your version of safety as a people pleaser isn't safe at all, okay? Stay with me, because it's taken me decades of my life to get to a place of self-sovereignty, and I want you to get there too, because I know how fucking great it feels. It really does. It feels so good, because not only do you feel more self-assured in yourself and you feel more confident in yourself, but you move about this earth and all of the interactions that are here. You move about this planet so much more freely and so much more securely. Like nothing is going to frighten you at that point. And it's the best feeling in the world. And I want that for you. So hang with me. We're going to walk through it. I want to talk about the origin story of people pleasing. Where the hell did this even come from? Because a lot of people aren't waking up in their late 20s and 30s being like, oh, I want to please everybody for a living. That's not how this works. This usually starts at a very young age, depending on your circumstances, depending on how you grew up. I, for one, grew up in a very hyper-controlled environment. There was this one article that I read about snowplow parents back in my TV news reporting days. And basically this whole term came from helicopter parenting, but amplified. Like snowplow parents aren't just hovering, they're plowing through. And I'm like, oh, wow, that sounds really familiar. And I love my parents so much. But if you ask my siblings, they will tell you I definitely had it the worst. And my own parents have told me they regret doing that because it actually made me go crazy in life afterwards. Not crazy to the point of breaking the law, but I did do things in college that I wasn't able to do when I was younger. I always say, like, I feel like I've had this late bloomer experience because growing up, I was always the mature one. Oh my gosh, you're so wise for your years. And it's not actually a compliment at the end of the day, because I'm like, I was restricted and limited in so many ways. And one of the ways I restricted myself was by suppressing every part of myself to make people feel good. And I always thought that was a great quality. I was like, oh my God, I'm being so nice to everybody, but I'm kind, right? I'm kind. There's nothing wrong with being kind. No, there's nothing wrong with being kind, but you can be kind and have healthy boundaries. In fact, being kind to yourself is the best form of kindness you could ever give anyone else, because people pleasers are victims. I'm going to get into that. But I want to say people pleasing in a lot of cases starts in a household with emotionally immature parents, inconsistent love, conditional love. We have to earn love. It's transactional. And then we start attracting love like that in our life later on. And don't even get me started on the walking on eggshells. It basically becomes a fawn response, like a trauma response. You know, you get into your fight, flight, or freeze modes. And instead of running away, we fawn, we morph. We perform. We keep the peace so we can stay safe. I always am going to put that in quotes because it's not safe. It sucks. It fucking sucks to constantly feel like you have to please everyone at all costs. Listen to this. And this isn't going to be a surprise to a lot of you who are familiar with attachment styles. But according to Frontiers in Psychology, a study that was done said that people with anxious attachment styles in relationships are 40% more likely to develop chronic people-pleasing habits. 40% more likely, which isn't surprising because if you have an anxious attachment style, you know it's very, very clingy. It's very like, oh my God, but I need their validation. That's very much a people-pleasing thing. Another study claims from the American Psychology Association from 2021, 82% of people who identify as people pleasers also report feeling resentment. This is a big one. They report feeling resentment on a regular basis. That is not kindness. That's erasing yourself. Okay. So when you grow up learning that love is earned, that is the pattern you will repeat throughout your whole life. You're going to put on a show. You're always going to have to perform for other people for them to be like, you know what? I like that person. Instead of being in the zone of, I don't really give a fuck if they like me or not because I like me. I love who I am. I love what I bring to the table in every single one of my forms because I'm multidimensional. I am complex. I'm a human being who has a lot of different thoughts and opinions, and I change with the way of the wind sometimes, like other human beings do. I have a lot of history. I come with a lot of trauma. That's a beautiful thing about you, and that's what makes you special, truly. But it's also, as an adult, our responsibility to heal those things so that we can make our lives better for ourselves and for others around us. So the conditioning, as we know, starts typically at a very young age. But what I think is most fascinating here is the neuroscience of needing validation. It is so insane how this becomes an addiction. Okay, people pleasers are victims of their own circumstances because it's like a drug. It's something we're conditioned into. And it's like, once you get that dopamine hit to the brain, because truly what is happening is signals are being sent to your brain like a positive reward. You know, when people go on social media and they get a like or a comment and they're like, oh, yay, I'm getting validated. That's exactly what it's like for a people pleaser talking to someone and then being like, yeah, I like you, I'm vibing with you, because you're just constantly making sure that they're okay. You're constantly making sure they're comfortable. And it's like, oh my God, this is so validating for me. I love that they love me because this is what I've been raised to know, because my parents loved when I loved them, right? My parents or my cousin or whoever it was, my guardian, whoever, they loved that I loved them so much. Even when I was dying inside, I showed up for them, and that's how I got love from them. Oh my gosh, I love this. I love it because the brain is telling you that you love it. You don't actually fucking like that, and you shouldn't like that. That's fucking heinous. You shouldn't like that. So let's stop that immediately, because this is what happens. It is truly an addiction. I was actually watching a YouTube video the other day. It was a TED Talk, and the woman hosting the TED Talk was talking about how people pleasing is a literal addiction. And there was a woman in the comments who said that after 60 years, she's in her 60s, it took her 60 years to realize that she would wake up every day and do that drug every single day, just of getting people's validation. Like, that was her drug. So every time she talked to someone, it was like, oh my God, yes, someone likes me. Oh my God, I didn't make someone upset. Oh my gosh, I went to that party even though I didn't want to, but everybody's happy now. Like, it's a drug. It's not actually how you feel. I mean, what a shame it is to yourself to sit there and not want to do something or not want to interact with someone and then do it anyway because you think you're just being so kind. But like, it's not kindness. Like I said, it's self-betrayal. That's not good. That's not something to be proud of. We need to break through this. So there's also this thing called rejection sensitivity dysphoria. And the minute I read those words for the first time, I was like, I already know where this is going, because I've lived it. I can already tell you what this is. I can already read between the lines, so to speak. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria is basically the explanation of people pleasing, which is when someone gets rejected, when someone as a people pleaser gets rejected, it is the equivalent to feeling like death. Like you're dying inside. So what happens is, as people pleasers, and I have had a friend call me out on this several times before, we aren't only afraid of getting rejected, we will prepare for rejection before it even happens. And it's not even real. So many years ago, back in 2018, when I started therapy, I remember sitting with my therapist and I was like, well, you know, I can't say that. And she's like, why? Why can't you say that to this person? And I'm like, because they're going to respond this way. And was it true in many cases? Yes, because this was a person I had dealt with for many decades in my life. So of course, I can probably safely predict and assume what's going to happen. But this was a trend in my life because of that person, where I would look at other people and I would just predict they're going to react the exact same way. And my therapist looked at me and she was like, well, how do you know that? Is that real? Is that happening right now? And I'm like, well, in my brain it is. In my brain, it's happening. It's very real, Carolyn. It's very real in my brain, but it wasn't actually real. and it wasn't in front of me. It wasn't happening. But a lot of people with that anxious attachment style, and I've worked on like very hard on healing this over the years, thank God. But a lot of people with anxious attachment style feel this, because if I protect myself from getting rejected, then the blow won't feel as bad. What really happens is we manifest bad outcomes by looking at them so negatively. It's not a good thing. It's really, really not. I want to give you this statistic too. Mental Health America reports that 90% of people with codependent traits also experience low self-worth and poor emotional boundaries. 90 fucking percent of people. 90! And this isn't just emotional. This is neurological conditioning. We forget about this. People think, oh, people pleasing, it's such a fluffy term. No, like it's actually something that's happening in your brain. It's a conditioning that we can break through, which is the good part. So again, imagine that rejection feels as sensitive as death. We don't really know what death feels like because we're here, right? But imagine it's like you're dying a slow and brutal death. That is the life of a people pleaser. That's what it feels like. And we don't need to do this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. Like I said before, people pleasing is a prison. The longer you live for someone else's comfort, the more disconnected you get from your own. And the whole purpose of this episode is to talk about how people pleasing is actually a prison sentence that you set yourself. You're the judge of your own life. You're in control of your own life, and you're literally putting yourself in a prison cell. The craziest part about being a people pleaser is not knowing what you want. You go through a literal identity crisis. I remember in my late 20s, I was like, I don't even know what I fucking like. I don't even know what I think. I don't even know how I feel, because instead of actually listening to my inner voice, I listened to all the other voices around me, because that's what I was trained to do. That was safety. And it's actually fucking crazy when you realize it. When you realize that's what I've been doing my whole entire life, and I have completely self-sacrificed my own needs and my own voice, and I've shoved it down that much, and you realize that in your 20s, holy shit, it fucking hurts so much. I cannot tell you the emotional breakdown I had when I actually realized this. The longer you live on terms that are based around other people's comfort and other people's needs, the more disconnected you become from your own. And that's fucking terrifying. You don't even know what you want anymore. And here you are in the prison cell that you built on other people's expectations with your hands around the bars, looking to break free. And you can. You can do that. When it comes to people pleasing, you can't be authentic and approved of at the same time. And if you're an OG people pleaser, come to the table. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly which one is going to have to go. And it's your authenticity, because you'll die if you don't get approved of by others. The audacity, how dare you? I can't die. I have to survive. I have to remain safe, right? And here's the thing we don't talk nearly enough about when it comes to people pleasing, that people pleasers are victims because we've been conditioned to be this way. Remember when I talked about the resentment? That happens because we created the environment. It's like we literally built this life being kind to everyone, sacrificing our own fucking needs. And as a result, we expect everyone else to treat us with the same love and kindness. It's like, treat people how you want to be treated. Is that the golden rule? Is that what that is? Treat people how you want to be treated? No, fuck that. Honestly, fuck that. I do not subscribe anymore. I used to. Because it's like, oh, well, if I treat people the way I want to be treated, they'll treat me that way. No, that person also has a history. That person also is a multidimensional, complex human being. And you're taking away from their experience by projecting your own people-pleasing onto them. Do you understand how fucked up that is? That's not okay. We have to stop this. Like, we talked about anxious attachment styles. Anxious attachment style, people pleasers, whatever you want to label it, they're always the victims, right? Oh, they can never do wrong. And yes, some people with more avoidance, more dismissiveness can bring that out. I get it. But you're not always the victim as a people pleaser. In fact, you created a space where you're now projecting all of these fake acts of kindness onto other people. So how do we stop this? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when you start healing from people pleasing, a lot of people have said this to me, and I went through this myself. You go from one extreme to the other in many cases. You don't know how the fuck to navigate this lifetime anymore. You're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do because I just spent my whole life living this certain way with my brain doing certain things. And now I have to do something completely opposite. How do I even do that? I remember when I stopped people pleasing and I was like, I'm going to step into myself. I was fucking relentlessly setting boundaries. And I mean, to a point when it honestly kind of came off a little aggressive, but it's what I needed to do. It's what I needed to do. I still find myself in that trap too of being a little bit too aggressive with my needs. Like, it's okay. You can say it in a healthy space. You can find that in between space. And I think that's a very difficult craft for us to master as recovering people pleasers. It is really hard to get in that in between space, in that good energetic flow that feels light, because going from one extreme to the other is not light. It's like, it's still a wounded place. You don't trust yourself, so you project onto other people. You get a little bit harsh in the way that you're throwing things out there, and that's okay. It's okay. It takes time. And if that's the way that it needs to happen, at least you're starting. My best advice, if you're going through this, is to pause and breathe. I remember my therapist telling me this. She's like, let's just take a pause, take a few deep breaths. And I did. And she was like, what are you thinking now? And it did regulate my nervous system. If you're getting into a place where you feel like you're going to go crazy, go on a walk. Think things through. Remember, the brain is doing numbers. We're deconditioning out of something we knew for decades. So give yourself some grace through the process, but take a walk. And that's another boundary that you're going to have to set. If you're with someone and you're in a relationship, for example, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so overstimulated, you're going to have to say, I have to revisit this conversation. I need to go on a walk to regulate my nervous system. Like, this is how we have to talk now. Truly, it helps. It does. Just say, I have to go, I got to go self-soothe for a second. I'll be back and we can talk, because right now this is not going to help. So it's on us to heal those things, and it's on us to stop victimizing ourselves. I did it for so long. I was like, I can't believe they would do that. I still do that sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe they would respond that way or react that way. And it's like, oh, because you wouldn't? Okay, they're different than you. It doesn't make them bad. Maybe it makes them misaligned, but it doesn't make them bad. Stop it. Seriously, stop it. A lot of this is about loving yourself, right? This is self-love, truly. But I often say that we need to like ourselves a little bit less. Honestly, just a little bit less, okay? Let's just stop with the self-love. Like, no, sometimes we are the problem. Seriously, like, look in the fucking mirror. Sometimes we really are the problem. And the reason people come into our lives is for us to reveal those problems to ourselves. And we work on it, we heal those things, and then we are able to fully love ourselves and invite in the energies that do align, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing. It's a beautiful process. It sucks and it's messy, but it's beautiful, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel so much freer. Other things you can do. Let's just say that someone asks you to go somewhere. Like, hey, I have some time after work. I wanted to see if you wanted to grab dinner. Old you would have been like, yeah, I can make it work, even though you have a lot to do when you get home. You just even want to relax. You don't even have an excuse. You just want to relax. Your brain is not having it right now. You can say no. You really can. But if you're not prepared for that yet, because you've been so trained to be a certain way, you can say, you know what, let me think about that. I'll get back to you in 20 minutes. I'll let you know. Maybe you already know the answer is no, but what I'm talking about is getting to that place of comfort, okay? Because it's not going to be comfortable saying no. It's just not. It's going to be very fucking uncomfortable. So let me think about it, come back, and you can say, you know what? I'm just really not up for it tonight, but I would love to get together soon. That is not mean. It's a very kind thing to say, actually. It's very considerate. It's very considerate of yourself. Therefore, it's very considerate to that person, because why would you ever want to go to a dinner where you have to put on a fucking show again and you're suffering through it? And people know that energy when they see it. Anytime I think about energy perception, by the way, and energy reading and feeling, like when you're with another person and you can just feel there's been a shift, especially if you're a people pleaser, you will definitely fucking know when someone shifts their energy, okay? The empath is very real. The empathetic qualities are very, very real, and they're true. But it's a blessing and a curse. We've talked about the blessing and the curses here. But anyway, my dad used to bring me to these karaoke bars that were basically biker bars in my hometown to sing. And I was singing fucking Celine Dion in a biker bar. But anyway, he would take me to these bars and he would say to me, when you're uncomfortable, people can literally feel that. People can feel your energy. So go up there, be confident, love what you're doing, sing it like you mean it. And it just changes the entire experience. And that is so true. Thank you to Aquarian Jim for that insight. We love an Aquarius. We love an Aquarius dad. We do. So anyway, another thing you can do is practice disappointing people in small ways. I actually got to the point where I was practicing this so much that I started to love it. Like I honestly started to love saying no to people. It was the best feeling in the entire world. And I can't imagine a life now at 34 years old where I'm not doing that. Oh my God. I mean, I look at my old self and I still love her and I have a lot of care for her, but like I just could never go back to that reality again where I was putting on a show and performing. And it's like, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, because I still have those moments come up. And I mean, as I'm recording this, I've had to restart things like several times. So I'm like, oh, I didn't say it right. I'm going to break free from this. Like, this is something I have to work on myself. So you're healing with me in real time. Yay. Cheers to us. But practicing saying no to people is so fucking liberating. It's the best feeling in the world, just being like, no, can't. And you don't even have to explain it. After a while, you realize, like, I actually don't have to follow this up with an explanation. The people in my life who respect and appreciate me for everything that I am, even for the strength that I have within me to say no to something, they are going to remain. They're not going to walk away, because let's be real. If someone does not respect your healthy boundaries or your needs, they're not for you. Why would you even want to keep that in your life? That's misalignment. And you'll know, again, listen to your body. When you say no, it's going to fucking suck too at first. It's going to be like, oh my God. I remember I felt so sick. Oh my God, I felt so sick to my stomach. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I have to say no. But now I'm like, yay, I get to say no. That's so exciting. And you can give yourself internal validation before expecting someone else's approval too. You say to yourself, I'm saying no. I deserve to say this. This is my birthright to have these needs. I am valid in what I'm feeling. I am valid in what I'm about to say to this person. And no matter what they say or how they respond, I'm still okay. I am still safe. I'm good. If anything, I'm better than I was yesterday. And that is so beautiful. And then you can address how they react and how they respond. Maybe it didn't make them happy. And sometimes that happens in relationships. I'm not saying it's the end of a friendship or a relationship when that happens, because again, that person's a complex person. They may get triggered. They have their own trauma. They have their own history. But if this becomes a fucking pattern, you need to understand and acknowledge that after a while. It's like, okay, I gotta go. This is not working anymore. And that's okay. I always say too, and this might help some of you, if you have a business or think about when you're at work at your 9 to 5, that person might be very different from the person you have in your personal life. Like, I feel like I have a split personality disorder. I seriously do, because my business self, my CEO self, she is such a fucking baddie. Oh my God. I love her so much. I always tell my therapist, I'm like, I love business cat. If something doesn't work for me, I say that won't work for me. That's it. Period. End of story. There is no further explanation. And really, running my business has challenged my people pleasing in so many ways. It's been so healing for me. I'm not at all suggesting you hop on the internet right now and register an LLC, but maybe you should, just for fun. Like, maybe you should. Honestly, it could help you. It really helped me so much. I can't even tell you how much owning a business has shaped who I am today and has healed me of these people-pleasing tendencies. Oh my God, I can't even relate anymore. So anytime I'm in a situation in my personal life where I'm feeling like, oh, I don't want to do that, or I have to say no, or I have to state how I feel and what I need from someone, I immediately put myself in CEO Kat's shoes. I'm like, all right, this bitch needs to come out right now. And it's great because it's very powerful and helpful. And it just makes for a much better experience. It's not selfish to disappoint other people. It is selfish to continuously disappoint yourself and then project that onto other people. That is selfish. So when I said people pleasers are prisoners of their own reality, what I actually meant is that you didn't come here to live the version of your life based on someone else's viewpoint, okay? You came here to live it for yourself on your terms. No one else's. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to say no. And you're allowed to take up space even when it makes other people uncomfortable, especially when it makes other people uncomfortable because they're not your fucking people. This podcast, I said from the trailer, I was like, I'm going to say fuck. I'm going to say hell. I'm going to swear on this podcast, because I listen to a lot of podcasts where people are reviewing their podcast and like, I hate that you swear. And it's just who they are. I swear I've been swearing for as long as I can fucking remember. I'm not going to stop swearing. It's just who I am. It's who I am. And I don't want people here who don't align with that. I'm professional in so many other places in my life. I just want to be me here. I just want to be me. And I deserve this. And you deserve it too. And I'm not fucking mad about it. I actually fucking love this for me. Moral of the story is that this can feel extremely isolating. This whole healing journey, this whole thing we call life. It really can. But I want to reassure you that you are not alone. You are never alone. You have people like me who can deeply relate to you. So if this episode connected with you in any way, shape, or form, I want you to think about it, reflect on it, take some time, take your breaths, and DM me, email me your I chose me moments. Like the moments you were like, I am choosing me this time. I want to hear about them. You can DM me on Instagram and TikTok. Actually, I meant that. That is what the name is. Or you can email me, kat@actuallyimeantthat.com. I want to hear your stories. I love reading them because that's good vibes right there. And I know it's so fucking hard to get there. I know it's brutal, but you're going to be so thankful that you did and you started living this new life, because it's going to be you 2.0 and 3.0 and 4.0. Like with all of these versions of yourself, it's just a beautiful unraveling. And I'm so excited for you to be fully sovereign within yourself, to be fully comfortable with your needs, your desires, and expressing them outwardly, and not living your life in chains and shackles that you put yourself in because other people conditioned you to be there. Like there's that part of it, but we can't live our entire lives blaming those people because they loved us in the way they knew how. But that has nothing to do with us now. Like we're adults. We have to figure this out on our own now. Thank you guys for joining me for the first episode of Actually, I Meant That. New episodes are going to stream wherever you listen to or watch your podcast every Thursday. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your ears open and your heart free, y'all. Keep your heart free. I love you. See you then.